It was only a matter of time before I present my next guest, who is a dear friend of mine for many years now. His name is Osim, and he is joining us from beautiful Hawaii. Welcome, dearest Osim. So,
Aloha all. Aloha to you.
so today we're going to be just diving into some topics that we talk about in general and that we feel are relevant for this time. And the first one is lack mentality and how it leads to aging. Can you elaborate for us, please?
Hmm. Okay. So greetings to everyone. Aloha, salutations, peace, love, light, infinite blessings. Not blessings because there's no be less. So infinite blessings. And that's the ideation that I have is switching the program mind, the program consciousness to think of less. Even in our speech, our walks of life, the English or English spelling, which is an angle, creates a less mentality. So we have to kind of like transform our language to tune into immortality. And that, for me personally, happens through creating a ritual or a place to or a space to celebrate. And as I focus on celebration, I look at celebration two ways. Cell liberation. Again, celebration is cell liberation. And when we see that and when we operate and we make that a part of our lives, the body changes because it is the consciousness that precedes the form first. It is the formula that creates the reality. The thought creates the reality. So, thought, feeling, consciousness, when we are creating a space for more, when we're celebrating life itself, you're actually celebrating yourselves. And when you're celebrating yourselves, that means you're feeding it with all of the right technology because we are in the technological age of Aquarius, right? So, with that being said, the Aquarian age is actually the water bearer. It is it is an aspect of water. It is the air. And in the air itself, there's water. That means that this is truly the age of the breath. So how are we breathing? Are we in spaces that are green, that are filled with water, like by the ocean, by in the forest? In the wintertime might be a little bit different because if you're in any place that is cold, it's a little bit different because the trees, they're going through their transformation process, but they're going to spring back. So be in green spaces as much as possible. That's how you tap into immortality and, aging less. I don't like the word age less. I focus on immortality.
Yeah,
And
from a lack
that's
mentality,
the
from a lack
secret.
mentality to immortality.
Right. So the focus is nature. Nature is always abundant. There is no lack. It is the illusion or disillusionment of our human consciousness that has created a lack. The universe doesn't really see lack. We are it condensed into human form and we're experiencing an idea of lack, but that doesn't have to be our reality because nature is always abundant.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, and kind of springing off this lack mentality that we can get, that people can attract into their lives and it can take them down those energies. Talk about mind traps and how to navigate through them, and what are the negative effects of getting stuck in these mind traps?
Hmm. Well, everything that we know of is sort of like a game. And we've all agreed to having a human experience. You know, as they put together movies, ideas, motives to move your imagination. And when we look at that in the reality, let's look at a movie called The Matrix. For instance, they gave you a red pill and they gave you a blue pill, and you chose what pill that you wanted to take. The same thing here when we talk about all the world, but let's say the disunited states of America. They gave you red and blue, and the red and blue were acting like they were against each other, fighting against each other. And one was saying, we want to do things this way, we want to do this, do things this way. And it created a social economic divide of the haves and the have-nots. And it appears that the Republicans were the ones that had the money, and the Democrats, they didn't have it. And the independents are like, yeah, you're not really here. You don't really have a say in the game. So that was the game, to keep you focusing on left field, right field, what's right, what's wrong, who's the best candidate, you know, that's going to take care of your own personal needs. And when we're looking at that outside of ourselves to an illusion to feed us who and truly what we really are, that's the mind trap that we create for ourselves, because we create doorways in our own lives that are sometimes can be counterintuitive to what we want to create, because we're saying that we want to live an abundant life. But a lot of times when we're going outside of ourselves and we're looking for the governmental agencies or whatever it is, a job or a relationship, even an intimate relationship, when you're looking for that outside of yourself to fill you up, that's a mind trap, because no one outside of you can ever feed you what you truly are, because you are, let's go back to the beginning, you are an immortal being having a human experience. And that's the truth. You are that. You are the creator. You are God, goddess, consciousness in form, in formula. So that the mind trap is to take you outside of your God power, your God, goddess, conscious bliss. And when you know that you know that you know, I am that I am, the Aquarian age, then it's time to turn back within and find the reservoir of love that is always here. And nature is the perfect candidate.
That's so beautiful. And leading from that, tell me about something I've been very interested in is the divine masculine and how men have really been going through a number. You know, so many men have been disempowered for a long time now, and they don't know their place in this whole feminist movement, and women coming and saying, well, we don't even need you anymore because we can provide for ourselves. You don't do anything anyways. So,
Mm.
you know, it's really becoming dystopian in many ways. And with this, we need the rise of the divine masculine. I believe then in turn will aid in us finding our divine feminine. It's like we are interconnected. And I feel like in order to unlock one, you need the other. So I really see, you know, I see a lot of lost men. And I want to, and it's not my position. I'm not a man. I don't know this, but
Well,
there's got to be more talk about the divine masculine, what that looks like, how it's embodied, and how you can aim to achieve and embody these characteristics within yourself. So, what is the journey towards reclaiming the divine masculine?
mm. Wow. Give me a second. I want to do something because this is all part of the one. First things first, you know, um, for me, as I speak on the divine masculine, everything is in particular, it's a ritual. And when we remember that life is a ritual, we turn within. We turn to the reservoir of love, as I was saying again, inside of ourselves. To reclaim the divine masculine, how we have to do that is go inside, slow ourselves down, kind of sit with yourself, sit with the reality, look at where things are in our lives, sit with all of yourself, the good, the bad, the sweet, the innocent, the pure, the vulnerable, all of that. When we turn in and we get into ourselves and we become vulnerable with ourselves and we see that we've all been hurt, we've all had situations, happenings, and events that have created disharmony in our lives. We have not even had a chance to rest. And part of that, rest is about us turning in, slowing down, breathing, tuning back into the natural rhythm of the planet and the flow of the universe. How you return to the divine masculine is that. We got to get outside of this and knowing that we're not just men, we're not just the body, we are gods, we are divine beings, and we can move past the egoic expression because in reality, we're everything and we're nothing. When you, let's say fly, you take a flight, a bird flies out thousands of miles up and we're looking, the bird is looking down and it's not even seeing a drop when it sees a human and a male at that. And so if we take that into perspective, that really drop the ego and get into reverence, because we're here to be in alignment with nature, because nature can take us out at any time. So any ego that man has, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Your heart can stop at any time. Man doesn't have control over even over his heart. You see what I mean? So it that shows you that there's something underlying that keeps the thing going. That is the precipice of keeping consciousness going. And so when we tune into being humble, tuning back into the love and being in reverence, it's like, wow, I'm just grateful to be here now. And it makes you look at your life a little bit different. It makes you, the world becomes more palpable. It's like you can touch things with your senses in a different way because you're observing the beauty all around you, because life is beauty and we are beautiful. We are that.
Mhm. And what about self-love in relation to nutrition? So a lot of people can perhaps think that they are practicing self-love with themselves, but let's say
Mm-hmm.
they smoke cigarettes. And
Mm-hmm.
so, there is a direct correlation with your nutrition and your self-love and
Mm.
how that leads to transformation. Can you elaborate on that topic for us, please?
Yes. Mm. So I'm ciphering right now,
Mhm.
and it's coming to me is self-love and nutrition are one and the same. It,
Exactly.
the I'm a linguist, so like I said from the beginning, this is an angle, this is a spell or a spelling, or we are basically magicians and we're brewing the pot. You smoke the pot, you eat from the pot, all of that. So nutrition, nutra, nutrions, nateru, nurture, nature is nutrition. Nature is the foundation of why we're here. Self-love is nature. And when we look at that, nature is always giving to us. It's always giving. It never cease to give to us. And if we are in alignment with it, it always gives to us. So we don't have to rob or steal or take. We don't have to kill anything to eat. When we remember that we're one with nature, nature simply can say, hey, how are you doing? Come to me right now. I'll give you something to eat. Here's fruit. Here's 1,000 fruit, from one tree. And I'll give you a scenario. There's a particular a god in the Yoruba tradition called Obi, and they use a coconut in divination for, to get in alignment with this God consciousness. And why do they do that? The God consciousness, they say, why is the coconut? Basically, a coconut, one coconut, when you plant it, will produce over 10,000 coconuts in its lifetime. See, nature is like speaking right now. you know, it's obviously speaking in the wind.
So much abundance, and when you also cut a pepper, you see that there are at
Right.
least 100 little seeds. So nature is abundant exponentially.
Man, listen, it is. It's always giving. And when we tune into the one seed creates a world. And so, as I tie this back in, which is kind of, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead of myself. So, one seed, self love, nutrition. For men, at the same time, you are, well, not just men. I'm sorry. We talk about men and we talk about all. Doesn't matter.
Let's talk about
So,
all.
all. Okay. Self love is nature, which is our birthright, which is to move in abundance. You can call nature abundance. You get what I'm saying? Tune in with that. We will receive everything. And so, one seed that we plant, it can be very fertile when it's put in the right environment, when it's in the right soil, when it has the right water. Same thing for us. When we have the right water that we're drinking in our systems, when we're eating the right food that are nutrient dense, that are full with mana, as they say here in Hawaii, mana, life force essence. Basically, that's self-love. Your cells are going to transform because you're moving in alignment with nature. That's self-love. And then when you're self-loving yourself, your life will change, your thoughts will change, your frequency would increase because you have increased your vibration by absorbing a natural vitality. Some call it, ITEL living or livity, living in alignment with nature and
Absolutely.
with source.
Yes. And yeah, we talk a lot about environment and how that's so important, and the type of environment that you surround yourself in is going to alter your vibration. It's like a rose too. The rose has to be in the perfect environment in order to bloom into this absolutely beautiful, fragrant rose. But if it's in the wrong environment, it will just wither and it will never reach its full potential.
Mm, right. That's beautifully stated. Question for you. Am I too loud
No,
or is this okay?
sounds
All right,
perfect.
cool. All right, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So the
Thank
last,
you thank you for hosting this Zoom call.
oh,
And if I can just share this with everybody, thank you for tuning in. Because we're only tuning into yourself. For I am you, we are one, celebrating love in formula. you know. So thank you. Talk you. In turn.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad I finally got to bring you on. I just honestly wanted to sprinkle and share your beautiful energy with everyone. Every time that I connect with you, my spirit just gets lifted and I just feel so good. And it's always about focusing your attention on love. And you always do that. It's always about love at the end of the day and unity and us coming together. And I think that's a message and that's an energy that more people need to be exposed to. When I became exposed to this energy, it radically transformed my life as well. And you
Mm.
brought in such a breath of fresh air into my life. So thank you so much.
Likewise. It's reflections. Right.
So, this last question I have: how are we willing to celebrate?
Mm. Is this question for me or
Yes.
man? Okay, we're ciphering, right? Let's play. And I can stop and start with that. Let us play.
Mm.
And I break things apart to put it back together. Children, what happens a lot of time when we're children? We're playing. We have these building blocks. What do we get a lot of times? We get Legos for children. What are some of these little blocks that we have? We fit the block in the hole in the block and try to figure the whole thing out. And we take a few tries and then we fit it into the hole. But it took playing. And that was our parents' way of helping us to understand consciousness. Same thing for us is that you don't need to try to fit a square into a circle. It doesn't fit. If the old way of doing things is not working no more, let that shift go, right? Let the shift go. And so how I see things is we got to play. We have to play now. And when we're playing, we celebrate. Now, that does not mean that playing means not taking care of responsibility. That's not what I mean by that. I mean staying lighthearted, getting back in tune with nature, experiencing the simplicities of life and smiling into life, drinking fresh coconut water, eating fresh fruit, hanging out with beautiful people, keeping yourself in positive spaces, positive vibrations, playing, if it's sound healing or music that's uplifting your spirit, then do that. Big thing for me is dance. For me, tuning into dance again actually helped my body transform because the weight became waste. And my stuck in the heaviness and the emotions and focusing on what's going on outside, a lot of times there's this great weight that happens, and it happens in the mind. Is we become a part of a thought bubble consciousness that actually slows down our vibrational rate. And what happens is when that happens, we stop celebrating. You're not celebrating your life force essence. You're literally shutting down your matrix. Mr. Anderson, you know what I'm saying? All of that shit starts to come in to distract you from your love, from your celebrity. That's the game. Celebrity, sell liberty. Again, celebrity is sell liberty. I'm gonna slow that down. I'm infinite waters today if I have to be. Turn to the left, turn to the right. Oh, oh, I'm saying oh. This is an oh moment. This is an aha moment right now to remember that we are the celebrities. We are the cell liberty. We are that. Ancient languages, Sanskrit says tat tivamasi, you are that. The ancient Kemetic way of language or land gauging was nukpu nuk, I am that I am. Yo soy, I am. You know what I mean? So many ways to see that. All around the world, it was about knowing thyself. And the ancient masters and the teachers and the ancestors, we all are that, returning back to self love, to remember ourselves. And we come here for us to remember that we are divine, we are love, we are more or mer, same time, more, ancient word, amorica, amor. Amor is love, more, I, ka, spirit. I am the love of spirit. I am spirit. I am inspired. That is the way it is. When we are reprogramming ourselves to celebrate what we already are, we become the art. That's it. So you can take on personalities all day. Personality is persona through sound, through vibrations. So become the vibration that you art. That's it. Dance and get free. Do your jig. You know, if I gotta look silly, I don't care if I look silly. You get what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
free, and
yeah,
that's it.
exactly.
It's
Yeah, releasing that tension from the body and just
right,
allow yourself to express yourself.
right, right, and that's it. It's why do you think in India, kum, they put it here, the pineal gland, and you see when they speak, the pineal gland is being attuned,
Mm.
attuned, the attunement, the atone, atone, atonement. Come back to yourself, love yourself, anoint your temple, celebrate your temple.